I wanted to talk about this for another reason. Because, okay, have you guys noticed that libertarians on Twitter are being blocked left and right over this stuff? Now, I was actually pretty much daring Twitter to block me last week. I got to be honest. I was pretty much doing everything I could to bribe Twitter to ban me, at least for like a 12-hour ban or something. I was tweeting Kyle Rittenhouse did nothing wrong. Kyle Rittenhouse is innocent. I was doing this crap all week. I don't know why I didn't get a ban. I really don't know. I know many people who did. So I don't know why I escaped. But you know who did not escape? Was one of the official Libertarian Party Twitter accounts. This on the Blaze. Twitter locked Libertarian Party account over a tweet saying Kyle Rittenhouse did nothing wrong. A rather innocuous tweet was reportedly censored by Twitter for glorifying violence by opining that Kyle Rittenhouse did nothing wrong. The reprimand from Twitter was sent to the account for the Libertarian Party of Kentucky after they tweeted that on November 3rd. The tweet read, "Watching this trial, it's ever more obvious that Kyle Rittenhouse did nothing wrong." The company said that the tweet had been in violation of their terms of service against glorifying violence and asked the account manager to delete the tweet before the account could be unlocked. "We prohibit violence, blah, 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 blah." The Libertarian account later tweeted vaguely about their suspension. And here you can see this. "Hey, we're back after our comments about a certain Illinois teenager and how the legal process is going. Still BS. Wonder if Twitter will apologize after said teenager is not convicted." The account for the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire posted a screenshot that demanded from Twitter next to the tweet from a Democratic member of Congress calling Rittenhouse a white supremacist domestic terrorist. And here's really, of course, why I wanted to cover this. The LPNH tweeted, "Ayanna Pressley, a 17-year-old white supremacist domestic terrorist, drove across state lines armed with an AR-15. He shot and killed two people who had assembled to affirm value, dignity, and the worth of Black lives. Fix your damn headlines." And then here we can see the tweet that got the Libertarian Party of Kentucky actually temporarily locked out of their account. "Watching this trial, it's ever more obvious that Kyle Rittenhouse did nothing wrong." But sure, Twitter is a nonpartisan organization that applies its rules completely fairly in all circumstances. Sure. I bring this up, though, because there are actually a whole bunch of libertarians that have gotten banned in the last week on Twitter. I think this is kind of interesting. Joshua Smith's account got banned, permanent banned. His show has a different account. So if you are following Joshua Smith on Twitter, please make sure you go and follow his show's account. That's where he's tweeting from right now. But there's actually a whole long list of libertarians that have gotten banned recently. So we're going to see what happens there. It's definitely something I'm keeping an eye on. And it's kind of like in New Hampshire, the Democrats are way more scared of the libertarians than they are of the Republicans. Like infinitely more scared. I wonder why Twitter seems to be much more scared of the libertarians lately on Twitter than they are of the conservatives. Something to think about. But there's good news with the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, too. There's actually a lot of good news with the Rittenhouse trial. Listen, the Kyle Rittenhouse trial is like the best, most effective red pill. White pill, too, actually. The best, most effective red pill that I have seen in a long time. There have been so many progressive accounts that have kind of like popped their head up and been like, "I had no idea that Kyle Rittenhouse's victims were white. I had no idea any of this was happening, mainstream media." Like they're actually watching the trial and they're expecting to see this like awful white supremacist. And instead they get Kyle Rittenhouse, who may have acted like an idiot teenage boy, because teenage boys are generally idiots, but is not a hardened murderer and is not a white supremacist. And they're finding out how much the media has lied to them. I have seen countless tweets, like the thread we're going to read, in which lefties are like, Why didn't I know the truth about Kyle Rittenhouse? Let's look at this one thread. This is from Bill Ackman. I have no idea who Bill is, but he has a blue check. But let's see what he had to say. Last night, Neri and I watched several hours of Kyle Rittenhouse direct testimony and cross-examination. We came away believing that Kyle is telling the truth and that he acted in self-defense. We found him to be a civic-minded patriot with a history of helping his community as an EMT and fireman in training, in his removing hate graffiti earlier that day from a local school, and ultimately volunteering to protect a business during the night of August 25th in Kenosha. Our firsthand impressions of Kyle were materially different from those we had previously formed based on media reports and opinion pieces that we have consumed. I have always been frustrated to read an inaccurate press report about a subject I know well. Yet somehow I continue to believe other articles in the same newspaper about subjects I know less well. Media and political bias are dividing our country and destroying lives. While we have not heard the entire trial based on the assessment of Kyle on the stand, we believe he will be found innocent by the jury. Oftentimes, communities react negatively and even violently after a jury verdict where they are surprised by the outcome based on what they have previously read in the newspaper, seen on TV, or more likely have been served on social media. I encourage you to watch the trial, or at a minimum his testimony and cross-examination, before you form a view of his guilt or innocence. With respect to my own political bias, I'm not a gun owner or a member of the NRA. On balance, I support stronger gun regulations and removing loopholes in the sale of guns. Unfortunately, it seems as though society's view of Kyle's innocence depends more on one's views about gun control rather than what actually took place last August. Kyle Rittenhouse's life is at risk. Justice demands a fair trial. Society would benefit greatly if politics did not enter the courtroom and convict innocent people. And then as a little epilogue, and this is what I love the best. Just got a call from the media asking if my Twitter account had been hacked. That is, the reporter couldn't conceive of the idea that I could believe that Kyle is innocent because I am not a right winger. Crazy. And guys, like I said, I have seen countless threads like this on Twitter. They have been all over the place. And so yesterday I tweeted this out, and I just want to mention it here as a reminder to all of you. There are a lot of people waking up because of the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. Please don't berate or demean them for not waking up earlier. That will only push them away. Instead, help them see that the media they trust lied to them, has always lied to them, and will always lie to them. You know, I woke up I woke up about 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago, I think. And I still remember the cognitive dissonance in waking up. It is so much easier to want to run right back to where you were, to that beautiful little blue pill comfort zone where you don't have to see all this. You don't have to know all this. You don't have to live all this. We have to create a gentle way for people to land. We just do. And I see so many people when people are waking up and they're tweeting things like, I had no idea Kyle Rittenhouse's victims were white. I thought they were black because the media said he was a white supremacist. And then people go in the comments, they're like, oh, you're so stupid. Why didn't you see? Oh my God. Do you think that helps? I know it feels good. I know it feels good to dunk on them. But it is not going to help solve the problem. I followed up with this. When people are red pilling, the priority should always be to help them graciously on that journey, not dunk on them for not getting there sooner. I beg you guys to keep this in mind. I really do. I beg you guys to keep this in mind. because like the temporary dunk doesn't help us in the grand scheme of things. It only feels good for a second, and it just pushes someone who could be on our team right back to the other side.